I'm here with Jill Carnegie. She is a professional animal activist and a leader in the activism movement and also a professional vegan. So we wanted to get your expertise on veganism, also the difference between veganism and vegetarianism.
Vegetarianism is something that has gone, at this point, extraordinarily mainstream, and that is a big step forward. I grew up vegetarian, I was born of a vegetarian pregnancy, and I feel really blessed to have grown up that way. We were a little bit different than other vegetarians in that we also avoided down, we avoided silk, but this is all before online shopping was available 25 years ago. 30 years ago, it was more unusual to be vegetarian at that time than it is to be vegan now. But the definition really of vegetarianism is that you avoid meat and flesh. So you don't consume fish, you don't consume birds, you don't consume animals like cows and pigs. But you still might use animal products, you might still use products that test on animals or attend entertainment venues that use animals. Veganism seeks to avoid contributing our dollars and our support to any industry that exploits or kills an animal. So that would include eating animals or anything that comes from an animal, their secretions such as their breast milk or their eggs. It also excludes clothing that uses materials that come from animals such as wool, and also products that have been tested on animals or forms of entertainment that exploit animals such as zoos and circuses. Now that we have the term plant-based, we don't need to use the confusing vegan diet anymore. That refers to a person restricting consuming animals and their secretions in their diet. But it does not necessarily mean that they're taking an ethical stance to avoid contributing to the suffering of animals.
Right.
Because veganism is a social justice movement. It's about justice. It's about standing up for victims and moving our consumer dollars away from supporting cruelty that honestly the majority of people don't agree with. Consumer practices can literally turn the tide of a systemic injustice that's happening on a massive scale every single day. That's really empowering because we as individuals can choose where we put our money, and that's true for the animals, that's true for the environment, that's true for human rights. It's really across the board. And there's even a lot of apps that can help you, like Boycott, as in buying, B-U-Y. You can plug in the different things that you care about and scan barcodes in the store. I went through a period of time a couple of years ago where I was trying to think, how can I work in the vegan movement or in the animal rights movement full time? But I don't have a college degree, and everything I looked into involved working with nonprofit organizations, basically. And for all of them, for entry-level positions, you had to have a bachelor's. Also, the pay was too low considering that I'm in my 30s and my expenses have gotten to the point where I can't take an entry-level salary. So I kind of put it out of my mind that I was going to be able to do that, and moved on. And I got really involved in a few activism campaigns. A few of my trusted activists, people who've been involved in the issue for a long time. We came together to start to brainstorm how to kind of rejuvenate the activism for the horse carriages. And out of that came this movement that we dubbed Empty the Carriages, where a bunch of us just would go out and we would educate tourists, but we would do it at the point where the purchase was being made, along what's called the hack line, where the horse carriages line up to try to solicit customers. We were already doing this voluntarily, and they loved what we were doing. And so we started to explore ways they might be able to support the Empty the Carriages campaign outside of NICLAS. And even though NICLAS is not a single issue organization, our core mission is around the horse carriage issue. Now, I live in Hell's Kitchen, and my windows face 9th Avenue, so I hear the horses' hooves literally on the asphalt every day as they're going back to the stables after their shifts. So I never am able to get away from this issue. I'm never able to really step back and take a breath.
We're in front of one of the horse stables. Which stable is this?
This is the one that has probably gotten the least exposure from what I've seen, as far as they don't tend to give tours in here. They never let media in here, I can tell you that much. And this area is Hudson Yards, which is undergoing a huge development right now. That is going to be under construction for the next several years. And these stables do not have air conditioning. So the only way for them to have air circulation is with the windows open and with these very tiny little fans in little corners around each floor. So that means that these horses now, for the next several years, if they are to be kept here in Midtown Manhattan, they're going to be subjected to extraordinary noise. They're going to be subjected to dust and all of the downsides that come along with a very extensive construction project. They're in traffic over 3 miles every day just on their commute, not counting the hours that they're standing on Central Park South inches from two-way traffic. These horses are kept second floor and higher in every single stable. They're forced to go up and down very steep ramps or stairs. This is a tremendous fire hazard. If a fire breaks out in a stable, there is no way that these horses are evacuating swiftly or efficiently from these buildings. So it is a death trap, literally. They have an aggressive metal bit in their mouths for 9+ hours at a time. They're also in a bridle, so bit and bridle together, very lazy for the type of work these horses are doing. It's a lot of equipment, and then the blinders. There's no humane way to operate this industry in the city. I disagree with working horses at all, personally, as a vegan. But even if you feel that it's okay for horses to be worked, this is still unacceptable. Stables do not belong in Midtown Manhattan in 2017, period. The really interesting thing that happens once you kind of come into one role or you get hired for a job, that sort of rolls over to other to other opportunities. And so this year I'm really excited to be a campaign strategist for the KoKo Rose campaign. KoKo Rose is a ritual that happens every year right before Yom Kippur, and it's practiced by a very small segment of the Orthodox Jewish community. And this is really a public safety concern as well as an animal cruelty issue. But it's pretty complicated because of the religious element. Freedom of religion is really important. We believe in the preservation of this, obviously. It's a very important American value. However, that applies to freedom of belief, not freedom of action. And that divide is also very important because that is what is preventing women from being stoned in the street for not being covered, for example. But we will be initiating several campaign tactics in the lead up to educate the public that this is happening in their own backyard. This is happening in New York City in 2017.
I don't understand why you need to kill a chicken when you could be using money instead for the same exact practice.
You had told me that you and a partner of yours started a cheese company?
Yes, Numu Vegan is a brand new cheese company. We have wonderful vegan investors and entrepreneurs who have come out of the woodwork to really support our vision. And so everything is really lining up. And we are anticipating that by the end of the year, we will have anywhere from 1 to 3 plants or production lines built in probably a couple of countries. And one of our investors, who's been sort of a mentor along the way, he wants to get us distributed to Mexico and India as soon as we're able to produce the quantities.
I know that you are extremely busy. Can you please tell us some of the other projects that you're involved in?
VONY, Vegans of New York, and also everyone calls us VONY, which I think is hilarious. That started a couple of years ago when Mark S. Wood, he pitched this idea to me of a community, a group that would get vegans together in person, because contrary to popular belief, most vegans are very shy. Actually, vegans are very marginalized socially, and most human beings have a hard time handling that. You know, a lot of people already have some level of social anxiety. So when you add veganism on top of that, it's a lot. Vegans of New York has sort of evolved into now is we like to think that we're a place that could be a cross-section of all different types of vegans. There's like the foodie vegans, there's the philosophical vegans, there's the hardcore activists who are out on the street every day, there's the entrepreneurial vegans, and there are the vegans who like volunteer work and community building. So we really try to serve every facet of the vegan community that we can to empower and activate vegans to get out from behind their computer screens more often. Although ironically, we are located in an online forum.
Thank you so much, Jill, for doing
Thank
this.
you.
I know that you're so busy, you have like a million and one things that you have to get to, and we appreciate all the work that you do. It's so, so appreciated. So, and thank you so much for meeting with us and talking with us and being our vegan expert.
Well, thank you so much for doing this, and good luck with the series.
Thank you. Thank you.